Hello guys, welcome back to another episode of Paris and Baz Cast, where we bring to you new guest speakers to talk about topics that impact property management, sales and finance. And today we have Mark and Lisa from Novak Properties.
Hey.
Thanks, guys.
Super excited to have them join us to talk about property and technology. These guys are the absolute go-to when it comes to technology and property.
Dominating the northern beaches.
That's
social
it.
media, I think it's in lockdown mode.
I don't know about technology and me, but we'll see how that one goes. Definitely Mark.
Yeah. And we're going to be talking about where we feel that technology and property will be in 10 years' time, where it has come in the two, so Northern Beaches versus Hills District, and where it's going.
Yeah. And so much has changed so quickly. I can't imagine 10 years. You know, so much is changing month by month now. It's incredible.
And it's changed quickly as well. Which
really
in front
quickly.
of our eyes.
Yes.
Like a fireball.
Yeah, it has. Yeah. So both social media and the property market have actually both ripped through our industry like a fireball. It's true.
Yeah. So talking about property, so what are some of the sort of historic trends? Because when we were talking about market values of properties, for example, for the Hills District, I was mentioning a block of land would cost about 7 to 8 years ago, would cost about 500,000, 700 square metres.
Yep.
And 8 years down, it's 1.5.
Wow.
That's the sort of growth that has happened within, particular pockets of Hills District. Yeah. Others, obviously different.
Wow.
Do we think that it's going to continue in that? What's the trends that you guys have seen?
So do you guys have any like new release land, or is that... So even after all that new land came onto the market, it's still those prices still
land
did
is still
that.
premium, especially in established suburbs.
Established
like Castle Hill, Bella Vista. This is like blue ribbon.
Wow.
So 1.5, 1.7 million is pretty normal. And they get snapped up pretty quickly.
Incredible.
So the total development cost at the end of the day, we're looking at 4 million plus. And it's becoming normal in the Hills District.
When you say total development, after you've purchased a property and built the house.
And built the house.
So,
wow.
So we've got some customers, they've built
That's just massive.
Yeah, that's huge, hey?
So
it is one small pocket, to be honest.
Bella Vista Waters,
right.
Hills,
Yeah.
Luxury.
It's like the Vaucluse of your area.
That's right.
Okay.
Minus the water.
There's no water to use.
We have the lake here.
Okay, that's water.
Because it makes Northern Beaches look cheap.
Yeah.
When you look at that, but
so buy up on the beaches.
So buy up on the beaches. But I guess why wouldn't someone just move to the beaches? Probably transport here would be very good. Yeah.
It has just the addition of the Northwest Rail Link. It has improved. Yeah. That's only been the last couple of months, so it has improved.
Also, what we see a lot with the medical professionals, they're working close to home. We've got the Norwest Private Hospital, Lakeview Private Hospital, close to home, close to work. So it works best for them. So the doctors are absolutely loving this Norwest area.
Right. Okay.
Because we just had a massive hospital going in the Northern Beaches, so we may see a big influx there on pricing off the back of the doctors. You reckon?
Yeah, here's been game changing. It's pretty central to Penrith Hospital as well, Norwest. So there's Parramatta, so it's in the middle. So we're seeing a lot of our clientele, medical professionals.
Okay, that's interesting.
I might be a doctor, become a doctor then.
So buy up in French's Forest. I reckon that's the tip, right? Because we've just had the biggest hospital in the country. It's been built there, Northern Beaches Hospital. And that's changed. So a lot of the infrastructure around that has changed dramatically. So roads have changed. They brought in the B-line system. Which is the double-decker system. There's no train line going through the Northern Beaches. So that changed a lot. But a lot of infrastructure was built around that, absolutely.
Right.
And then there was an influx of about 3,000 employees into the area. So they all required housing as well. But, that's an interesting trend. So I reckon that's one to watch, definitely.
What would we say the average price in French's Forest around the hospital?
For a house around there now, and that's changed again quite significantly, you're looking at around that 1.6. On average, 1.6 million. You'll get a nice 3 to 4 bedroom house around that area.
Land size, roughly?
About 600 square metres.
So it's pretty comparable. Eh?
Yeah. Great. And a beautiful lifestyle. It's beautiful locations around there as well.
Yeah.
Very family friendly.
Yeah.
But those areas have come a long way, haven't they?
Massive. But the capital growth you guys have had is just...
that's out of control.
To compare that, because, the Northern Beaches has got 100,000 homes.
Yeah.
So we're still, and there's 185 agencies. So we're still a really big catchment to get a reference, and I can't reference those prices out of any of those suburbs. That's just huge.
The level of growth has been huge.
It's phenomenal.
But if you compare that, for example, another suburb, so the likes of Kellyville, a similar block of land used to be the same, so same price for 500,000.
Years ago, we're talking 500k.
Yeah.
But Bella Vista Waters, for example, has gone to 1.6, 1.7.
Wow.
Kellyville's at 1.2.
Right. Okay.
So that's like exclusive.
A few different.
Only 490 homes. But what we see, like West Penn Hills, for example, that's another Blue River locale.
Wow.
We're getting those prices as well.
Mark's just playing with gadgets.
Guys, do you have any advice for new home buyers?
Hey, on Insta, are we sideways? Or just want to know over there, are we sideways on Insta?
Yeah, guys, can you give us a thumbs up on Insta if you're seeing us the right way, or if you're looking at us sideways? That would be awesome if you could.
Comments on
What was the question there?
Sorry, so does it say, do you have any advice for new home buyers in which locations to be looking at? Which locations would be best for new homes?
So that's all about to change. Mark, you know heaps about the first home buyer, that new first home buyer scheme.
Oh, wait, all right. So let's first of all, it's actually my favourite topic at the moment. Thank you so much for the first home buyer stuff's actually massive, because with first home buyers, there's a massive change. It's 3-tier. In January, the government's talking about this incentive where you pay a 5% deposit. They will guarantee 15%.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a game changer. It's sub 700,000.
Yeah.
And the reason why that matters is the government just identified that a lot of people had a lot of problems getting their deposit ready. And then what actually happened is if they couldn't get their deposit ready, then what would happen is they'd wait, and when they'd wait, the prices would go up 30 grand, and it's like I've just saved towards my deposit 10 or 15 grand. The prices have just gone up 30. So the government's identified that and said, okay, we're going to guarantee that it's all cool if you've got 5%, but they're only doing it for 10,000 people.
First in, best dressed.
Yeah, that's right.
I reckon that's a big one, guys. So keep an eye out on that.
First in, best dressed.
It's a big money maker to get in, but get in early. The other thing is superannuation. So superannuation, traditionally you could never buy a residential property with, particularly one that you're going to live in. Now they're allowing first home buyers to use 30 grand of their super towards purchasing a property. But it's a bit of a trick. Not a trick, but you got to be careful. It's not just your super full stop. It's your voluntary contribution above and beyond your normal amount that your employer puts in. So that's going to be interesting because particularly for our area, you can buy. It sounds like you're so expensive here. What's a 1 bedroom sell for here?
1 bedroom apartment,
5 million.
2 bedders here on Norwest Lake.
It's like the New York of Sydney.
100 to 1.2. 2 bedders here on Norwest Lake.
Okay,
wow.
1 better.
1 bedder is 7.
Okay, so buy on the northern beaches.
So we won't worry about buying here. So the whole audience that's watching, you've got to go to northern beaches.
No, but northern beaches, so just to give you guys an idea, so northern beaches, you can still get in there. I've got a 2-bedder there with a guide of $675. You know, and it's a great 2-bedroom apartment. It's renovated, it's got parking, you know, it's good to go. So something like that's going to be great, and it's going to give you a good rental return as well. But the trick is, do not wait until those first home buyer schemes come through, because guess what's going to happen to property prices at that level? It's going to go through the roof. The idea is buy it now while it's still sitting at a really, really good level. Do not wait until January or February, because we've seen that first home buyer market before. It goes through the roof. Everyone's looking for the same thing, and it's pushing
the
property
same price,
prices up.
Exactly, so that same price point.
Yes.
But let's sort of expand. So obviously we're talking a very exclusive suburb here, which has had that sort of growth. But if we go into the likes of further west, the likes of Box Hill, where you can get a bigger home. So what would you say about the 350 square metre block, about 25 square home under the 750 for first home buyers?
800,
So obviously you've got to go further west. So I think it has to do with the infrastructure, because this is becoming a mini CBD, so to speak. This is business park.
This is more upper class.
Yeah.
And a lot of the
but there's lots
really
of opportunities for first home buyers to have a home, or own a piece of land as well, larger, sort of 300 plus, as further you go west. So it just depends on the areas. But Hills District, traditionally, a lot of those prices are sort of on the higher.
Yeah.
Higher end.
What was interesting is when Michael came on a couple of weeks ago, we were discussing commercial property.
Yes.
So here we're looking at probably 8 to 10,000 a square metre.
Yeah.
And in the DY Northern Beaches, we're looking at 5, 6, I think. You're saying, Michael. So
Wow.
it's unbelievable. Yeah.
It's incredible. But poor cousins have arrived.
Which we failed to understand.
Yeah, we used to go eastern suburbs, northern beaches under that. Now it's like eastern suburbs, northern, then eastern suburbs, you guys, and northern beaches.
I guess the good
even
news
the west
is
outperforming
the good news
the
is
north.
that you can still buy really good value property on the northern beaches. It always amazes me. You still can, even though we've had huge growth. You can still get in there and pick up some great properties.
Well, you can get a 550 and get into a one better. 650 and get into an older two better. 1.15 you can get into a 3-bedroom house on a block of land of 500-600 metres squared. A bit.
Well, look what you've got in Duffy's Forest, Mark.
Yeah.
Mark's got we call it the White House. I mean, it's like a castle. This place is beautiful. 2,000 metres squared luxury house. No expense has been spared there, and that's got a guide up in the high 3s on it. It's absolute. It's incredible, but that's got all your bells and whistles.
That's right.
It's unbelievable. We're going to have to take your toy away, Mark. Look what he's doing. He's talking about changes, right?
4 people in here. I can go.
We're going to have to take your toy. We're going to have to take your toy away. You want to talk about your technology
and technology. So heading into technology.
He's quite distracted by it. We'll have to remove it, I think.
So at school, when I was in high school, I was the student that was finding it hard to focus on stuff.
Okay, so nothing much has changed.
It seems to work okay for me in business so far, though.
Nothing much has changed. No. What's the device? There's a little gadget there. It looks like a pencil sharpener that keeps lighting up. What's going on over there?
Mevo.
What is that? Tell us.
So a Mevo is really exciting because if anyone's doing live Facebook or live YouTube, Mevo will actually start. You know how people don't realise, but with television, there's actually 3 or 4 cameras in a room. And television will go.
What we've got here at the moment.
Television will go chop to that person, chop to that person, chop to that person. Everyone, those 2 people. Chop to everyone. So what the Mevo does is it's got the software to have a 4K photo and then chop between people as.
Oh, okay.
So it just makes it.
You're live
if
now,
you look at that screen on at the moment, the Mevo MOVO. Now it's full screen.
Okay.
And in a second, it'll just go over.
Oh, to chop over. Oh, right.
So it'll identify the faces and just chop over. So it makes for a little bit more of an interesting view.
Okay.
And something that you're a little bit more common with because that's how you watch television.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for listening.
There you go. So this is your personal page at the moment? Facebook?
I'm on business page.
On your business page. There you go.
Yeah.
Social media.
Invest on that, huh?
No, that's
It's taking over our world.
That's the first time I've ever used it.
It's taking over our
So
world.
we'll see. We'll give it a month and see if it's trash or traction.
Yeah.
Can you just scroll to see if there's any more questions on Insta? Down the other way.
Is it?
Down that way.
Mate.
Yeah. That was the only one, I think, was it? No, there you go.
All right, what else?
So talking about, where do we think, so let's finishing off on property, property values, 10 years time, where do you think there would be an average, like for what's selling for $750 today in the Northern Beaches? Do you think it's going to be double?
Look, nothing, that marks the numbers, man, but you know, the best piece of advice I can give is a really good piece of advice that I was given, or we were given, by someone who's heavily involved in property. And he said to us, nothing's changed in the last 100 years and nothing's going to change in the next 100 years. You know how you always have these conversations with people who are always trying to suggest, the market's going to crash, sell everything up. It's, it's doom and gloom. The reality of it is nothing. No one ever looked back 10, 20 years ago and said, that wasn't a great investment, I never made money on it. Right? For the most part.
Yeah,
for the most part.
I remember there was a guy in America that quoted something similar, and he was saying some count something. He was one of the wealthiest guys at the time, and when they asked him about his opinion on the property market, and he said the same thing, and he was like, So there's like, what do you think about property? What do you think about the market? Where's it going? And he said, look, it's been very good, very kind to me. It's been excellent the last 100 years, and the next 100 years will be okay.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, well,
but isn't that that's the reality?
Long term, we're always so, and I guess that's society, and that's how we are. We're very we're very guided by what's happened in the last year or the last 2 years or the last couple of months or the last couple of days. But really, it's not the stock market, it's the property market.
Yeah.
It is arduous because stamp duty is $40,000 on $1 million. You're not trading it like a stock where it's zero to get in and to get out, so it's not volatile. So it moves like a freight train. Yeah. It moves slowly, and I think that's the way that we've got to think with property because of that. And it's. I personally think, and everyone may think differently here, but I think 10 years is double. Particularly when I hear about your property prices here.
Probably quadruple.
That's where is it going to go?
So what are your suburbs that you guys operate in for our viewers? So you're
Bella Vista, Kellyville, Castle Hill, West Pennant Hills, all of that. That's more the Hills District premium
Kellyville's had a lot of...
And that's because Kellyville's huge. And that's because Kellyville has been recently divided to North Kellyville, which is the raw and up and coming, where these prices are very affordable.
They're not still cheap.
They're still not cheap. But I mean, for example, one of the properties we literally just sold, 1.2 mil, leased at $800. So that's 6.6 return. So it's still, because there's that sort of movement, it's a huge home.
So even a house on, say, 375 square metre block, you're selling around the 1.2 mark.
Wow.
But that's, but
they're not big blocks, hey?
Yeah. And so that's sort of the Kellyville, it's a North Kellyville, and then the established Kellyville, which is got more of the older properties as well. Yeah. And then there's the Kellyville that's closest to Norwest. So there's going to also be a subdivision in this area where it used to be Kellyville and now it's become Norwest. That's a new suburb, which has got a golf course, it's got the apartments, it's got a good combination of executive living, of smaller apartments, being close to the metro station as well. So you've got good price points covered.
Yeah. Kellyville's got a range from $1 million to 2.5.
Right.
It's a big range. Depends how close you are to Bella Vista and the park.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Right. Yeah. Really interesting.
What a suburb. And where we operate is pretty much northern beaches. So Spit Bridge is a bridge that's just after Mossman Neutral Bay. So we operate from there all the way up to Palm Beach, which includes the major suburbs of Mona Vale, Manly, the extremes, Avalon, Newport, Collaroy, DY is where we are.
Which is the centre of the universe.
Centre of the universe, just so you know. Drill a hole from DY, it'll come out of China. But if you... then you've got Frenchs Road where the hospital is. That's sort of like a triangle of that area. Beacon Hill, Narrowena, those areas. So we've got about 30, 40 odd suburbs that are in that catchment. And then we've got a waterway called the Pittwater. We've got the ocean. And then we've got the city down there. So we're sort of a...
Insular peninsula.
Yeah, well, it used to be. It really did. It used to be. And, with that... Again, with the the Northern Beaches Hospital, and then the infrastructure that's coming with all the transport. That bus system that we have now, because again we don't have the train line, but the bus system that we have transports people in and out of the CBD every 4 minutes from 4 a.m. to midnight. It's a phenomenal service. So it's helped a lot with traffic, but it's also meant that people that never really wanted to push out to the Northern Beaches before because it didn't have that proximity to the CBD now do. So, and also things changed. Everyone wanted to be down toward the beach. Now we're finding more and more people want to be up toward the transport.
Really interesting.
More and more people say to me,
convenience over lifestyle.
They're saying, actually, I don't want to be down near the beach and I need to be up near the B line because I work in the CBD. We hear that all the time now. So it's nice.
And
things
we're
have
giving away a free house today for everyone who watches to the end. We're giving away a free house at the end.
So what's the whole thing about?
Not a big house, it's only 3 better, but it's worth a lot of money.
These guys.
These guys will be giving it away because so much money, because the prices are so much higher here. But it's interesting. So what we covered today in summary, guys, where first-home buyers seems to be a bit going to be pumping.
Yes, definitely.
Technology is moving like a fireball, particularly social media. A lot of video content out there, which is really good. You know what? It would have been hard to get across any of us guys without a one-on-one meeting. The thing I like about technology is that we can offer this information now to people openly, and it can go out to whoever demands it.
Yeah, that's right.
Before that, have to come in, find where to park, come in, sit down with you, make an appointment, and then get 30 minutes out of you. And now we've got the ability to get this information out to the market. It's unbelievable. We've talked about I just can't believe the prices.
Yeah, it's
crazy.
crazy.
You guys need to come here.
We'll go for a drive up here. We'll see what's available.
But talking about technology and where that's heading, so currently we've got this huge rise of social media, Facebook. I think you maybe put up a post about the next big thing being TikTok. That's one of the things which I haven't got much of a...
No, I don't also. I don't totally understand what it is, but Gary Vaynerchuk says... Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So Gary Vaynerchuk reckons it's the next best thing, but I also understand he has shares in that company as well, apparently. Yeah. So, it'd be interesting to see
what happens. Yes. And even obviously the big players like Google, where they've got YouTube. I think a lot of the content now, in my thought process, is that Facebook is now, I reckon, YouTube and being the ads within when you're watching the videos. Yeah. That is going to be what's going to be taking over as well, just from because you can still comment on there, you can still view there. Yes. You may be watching another video about, a music video or whatnot, and then the ad comes through, which is a property video, which is then another medium to be able to
So I understand, again, the rumour out there is that with YouTube, it's the how-to guides. So it's how do I clean my oven, how do I sell my property myself, how do I, that's what a lot of...
sell property.
Yeah.
That was the training background for you.
Yeah,
training platform. For anyone out there watching, do not follow that lead.
How do I get this guy up in price? But, that's why I use YouTube. That's what I use. No, I don't use it for real estate services because we're gurus. But I must admit, if there's something like we got a flash in the office, and we're like, I said, Google YouTube it, find out how it works. Yeah. I reckon you're right. It's the how to. I'm not going to Facebook for that.
Yeah, and it's funny because and the themes change a lot. I mean, I'm on social media a lot across LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. Yeah. And some weeks Facebook will go bananas and it'll serve me up all this inquiry and appraisals and everything, and then nothing for a week, and all of a sudden Instagram takes off. Yeah. So it's funny, I just think it's I don't know. You've just got to be across all of them. That's the reality of it.
I think you've got to be invested equally, and that's just what you do. And but what in life isn't like that, though? Do you know what I mean? Like I think often with a lot of marketing initiatives, it's like I'm sure Coca-Cola goes in waves and they think about their sign on William Street, King's Cross, and like, should we get rid of it? Should we not? But they've got to be consistent across. That's what they're known for, and I think. We can't sort of heavily invest in one or the other.
No, that's right. You do. You've got to be right across all of them. And I think, for any business that's not involved in one way or another in social media, like I'd be nervous for them. I really would.
Because that's how people, and it's the ease of the information that you find on your phone. You're on your phone all the time.
It's a new TV.
It's the convenience, but it's also that instant. We were talking about it before. It's the fact that someone can get the information they want instantly. And these platforms are served up to people based on what you want to see. What you're seeing on your Facebook and what I'm seeing on mine are two very different things. You're building your own TV channel on there.
Correct.
Of what you want to see, Exactly. But it's funny, like I know we often sit around and we'll talk about social media. Obviously, we're all on it a lot. I just think we're going to laugh that we've even had this conversation.
You know what I heard yesterday, which is interesting about technology, on a mobile device, so it's regarded, a view is regarded if you have viewed the image, if you have viewed 80% of the image, 50% of the pixels of the image within 300th of a second.
Okay.
Wow.
So you're
a third of a second. So if you've given the attention to a photo on your phone for a third of a second, they regard that as a view.
Oh wow!
Wow!
So that's how quick we've gone from Channel 9. Yes, 300,000 people viewed the footy, as in in the hour to they're counting 300ths of a second and viewing half of the pixels as a view these days. It's changed.
It's unbelievable.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Nuts.
That's crazy.
It's nuts.
And talking about some of the technology that you guys use, I love the 360 cameras, like all of these options that make it easy for the buyer or the tenant to be able to see the property. Is there anything else that that works really well, or is that people would be interested in knowing more about? Like, obviously, from the current technology that you use, is there one that's taken off that this has been made it very convenient that would be more used in the future?
Yes, there is. There's one very, very critical one. It's complicated. It's called your mobile phone. Yeah. That's the one that I use all the time.
Yeah.
It's always on you.
Yeah.
And I know how to operate it.
Yeah.
So for someone like me who's not an IT junkie like you guys are, I find that one works the best because you've always got that. You've always got your hand.
Yeah.
So just use, for me, that's what works the best, and I can get it out instantly to people. I don't have to fiddle around with gadgets. But I do know that we do use obviously a lot of other stuff in the office. What have you found, Mark? This is Mr. Apple here, by the way.
Yeah, I just like buying Apple. It's an
Apple's
addiction.
the best. Gotta have it be the first one.
They give me my money back when I don't like it. I like them. I think that a big thing particularly for brands out there is you don't want to, and when people are selling or renting their property, you don't want to be with the crazy scientist that's just always doing stuff and not doing anything properly. But at the same time, you don't want to be with the dinosaur that's telling you that something works that you as a consumer just know does not work. So I think that if there was to be when I look at companies and I have a perception of companies, I do like innovative companies because I know that they have been through that trial and error process to know what's good and what's bad. So I think but if I had to go in any particular direction of if someone's interviewing a real estate agent and try to qualify a real estate agent, I think that the person that's doing stuff well that works. That you know to yourself, well, I don't really use those 362s there, but why the hell are they doing those? And if the guy comes in and bases his whole presentation on 362s, I'd probably say it's a fruitcake. But
if it works,
if it works, and then when I see the guy doing 360s, I thought those guys are pushing all boundaries, So we did, and it can be basic stuff like we did pink lights in all of our commercial properties.
Yeah, I saw that.
And we invested an enormous amount in, we bought hundreds of pink LED lights slowly. So first of all, we did the first 10, then we said, that looks really good, we'll do another 30, then that looks really good, we'll do another 70. So if you drive through the northern beaches and you'll see at night something just light up pink, that's a property for lease. Now for us, that was a free hit. For our clients, that was a free hit that they're getting that exposure. So it's probably an old-fashioned piece of technology, but for us, that's the latest and greatest.
And it's the sort of thing where people drive past and they go, that's clever. Why did I not think of that?
Yeah, it's simple, right?
It's so simple. Now, that's exactly what it is. So it's all about, with technology, how do you simplify things? Often, and I can't believe I'm saying this, I feel like I'm old-fashioned saying it, so, technology actually can overcomplicate stuff. And Mark will buy me a million devices and say, try this mic for your phone, try this little tripod, and at the end of it, he's bought me so many devices, he's always like, where is it, why aren't you using it? I'm like, because it's never there. I don't know how, by the time I've put the thing on and started filming, the moment's over. Come on, I've had to leave to go to another property. So, that's the thing is that if the technology can simplify life for you, it's a winner.
It's easier.
If it can't, forget it. Like, I was watching you setting up in here before, and I was like, oh my God,
what's going on?
What is going on in here? But it's, again, if it can simplify things, awesome. I think that's the key.
And again, it's helping our clients, our people. People. But it's helping our clients, So the big thing is I know we probably feel crazy setting shit up like this camera equipment, but if it, again, the pledge is giving people information that's just not out there in the marketplace, or information that have be very hard to get. They have to be opposite. It's like, how can you say it's wrong? All that technology,
right, exactly.
When you're helping people that way.
Yeah. I've got to say, one of the best videos I've seen you do was one that we did with Tom Panos, a very, very well-known real estate trainer, when you guys were talking about all the different devices, what they were and how they worked.
I was hooked on that one.
Where can you find that information?
You can't, right?
How many YouTube videos would you have to go through to find all of that collectively?
Together.
That was amazing. Yeah, that kind of thing. You know, that's going to be your how-to video.
There you go. How to set up live streams.
Yeah, that's right.
It sounds funny because we're helping real estate agents, but that actually, and at the end of the day, that's actually helped our clients that are selling and buying. Because the amount of clients that we've been referred by other agents. So when we've built up a massive, and you guys equally have a phenomenal network on Facebook and Instagram, and all these agents were joining and watching, and you know, we were like, how the hell is this going to help us? We want buyers, we want sellers. But that tribe of agents are actually spheres of influences in their areas.
Massively.
So now when people think Bella Vista, they know you guys, they send you a buyer, they send you a seller.
Well, that's exactly what happened.
That's right.
That's what happened with us.
That's what with us. We send
but how many times? I think I've done... definitely 5, maybe half a dozen deals with other agents that have seen a post that I put onto social media. They've called me and said, look, I've got a client, can I flick them over to you? I've seen that you've just got a property in wherever it is. And it happens all the time. The reality of it is, and I had a good analogy the other day, I said to Mark, no one really knows where Channel 10 Studios is. Channel 9, Channel 7, you don't know. And you don't care anymore. And that's the thing, when you're on here and you're on social media, they don't even know where you are. They just know that you're an agent who's doing stuff that they want you to do.
That's right.
And so they're happy to refer you on that basis. When I got a referral to sell 5 houses in Darwin last week, and the guy was like, well, sorry, where are you? And I was like, I'm on the beaches in T1.
Opening a
now I'm going to go up in Darwin, but I probably need to know a little bit about the area.
To fly there. Northern Beaches, Northern Territory.
But that's the connection, right? Because he's like, I don't even know where you are. I just see you popping up on my feed all the time.
The problem that I have is, how do you quantify that opposite a client when you're selling a unit in DY? How do you actually quantify the client? Like, you know what, I get referrals all over the country for buyers who buy, and they're like, really, houses, Facebook. So it's so new that people are like, but I almost feel like the word's gotten out or getting out now, where people are going, okay, this is a thing now. So it's interesting.
Definitely.
If an agent's not on it, I think they're falling behind big time.
Well, I mean, for us, you know, for me as an agent, us collectively as an office, we're up over 30 deals now off the back of social media. That's not luck anymore.
That's amazing.
This is a thing.
Formula.
This is a thing. I just put a beautiful house in Freshwater, haven't actually gone inside it. I have personally been inside it, but not, you know, on my little video. And the amount of calls I've had a contract out already. Someone's already asked if they can put an offer forward. You know, this is the power of it. It's a monster. It's a game changer.
And this is going to continue, which is obviously why the portals are worried. But there are new portals are coming.
Why is it going to continue? You honestly think so?
I would say so, because the growth of Facebook, you know, it's taking over. Because on Facebook you're not looking for property; it's popping up, and it's you're interested in, you're clicking and you're finding out more. But obviously on the portals you're directly there and you're actively looking. So because it's more of a passive thing and it's popping up and it's a beautiful house, pretty houses, people want to see that anyway. I think that's going to take more.
And also they have the opportunity to refer. So about half of my buyers that have come off Facebook were never on Facebook or social media, let's say Facebook, were never actually on social media. But the lady that was sitting next to her at work, she was, and she said, oh my gosh.
You got to see this.
Right? And today as well, I had a call from someone who said, my friend said she saw that you've got something in Freshwater. When can I get... So it's this
spiral effect.
It's this spiral effect. But there's one distinct thing that we're missing. What's the cost to the vendor to get their property on social media and sold that way?
Zero.
Big
because
zero.
It's an investment that you've spent 20 to 30 hours a week on.
Oh, yeah, 3. We were having that discussion before.
Yeah,
3-4 hours a day. Yeah, 3-4 hours a day.
For the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So
hello, is anyone watching?
Yeah.
Oh, someone's watching now.
But that's great. They're not having to spend the money. So.
Yes, and look, as I said, it's a $0 marketing spend as opposed to thousands. I mean, I don't know what you guys charge for your marketing spend, but let's say ours on average is about $5,000 thereabouts, 5 to 7,000.
Yep.
That's a considerable amount of money.
It is, isn't it? Because if you consider that out of that, 3.5 would be on portals. About 1.5 on domain and $2,000 on real estate.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
It's a big chunk.
And look, not to say that they're not working. The intention is always to go to the portal.
Yeah.
It's just these properties are not getting there because they're selling beforehand.
Yeah.
And they're not selling cheaply.
It's the plan B, as you say.
There is competition.
They're not selling cheaply. Right. Now, this wasn't something that we were doing in a very hot market, which we've now moved into. This is something that we've been doing already for months ago. So this was taking place in a market that wasn't hot at all. It was a tricky market.
That's right.
And it was still selling. So the formula was still working. The reality of it is the eyeballs are all there.
Yeah.
The eyeballs are all there. That's the reality of it. Yeah.
And it creates urgency, I think, which is great in the market.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah.
And Lisa is kicking me under the table because I'm playing with my phone.
Move it away. Push it away from him. I'll push it away from him.
Microphone here on. That's okay.
Oh, no one can hear you. Is that right? Doesn't matter. All right, guys. What else do we want to cover? Anything else?
That's pretty much it. One of the other things that part of Real Estate Institute, they were mentioning a lot of technology that's coming up in property management. One of them being a proposal where Alexa is given by the agency to the tenant's home, where they're talking to Alexa to say, hey, my tap's broken down, and that's connected to the property management software. It's speaking to the plumber. It's that's where from Real Estate Institutes, that was one point that I've picked up, that from property management, they're looking at how things can be more simplified from tenants' perspective and from their user perspective. What are your thoughts on that? Is there anything that would be implemented? There's obviously lots of pros and cons.
Alexa's a really sexy name.
Yeah.
I don't know. When I speak to Siri, she never listens properly.
Yeah, it's much nicer than Siri. I think Alexa's a much more nice name.
There's always going to be technology like this that's going to come into play. Always. You know what the bottom line is? The bottom line is good old-fashioned stuff still trumps everything. I mean, I'm sitting here with my book. I've got my book. That goes everywhere with me. So now I can talk to my phone, I can put notes in my phone, it can add to my calendar for me, but I know it's done when I've written it in my book and I've ticked it off. And so how can we equate that to what you're talking about? There'll always be that technology and the spin, and we're all for technology, obviously, but at the end of the day, the good basic fundamentals of the great property manager, the great structures that you've got within your office for that sort of thing, the great tradies and all that sort of stuff, that's going to trump all day, every day. But we are going to need these things.
To make things.
Sometimes I feel like it overcomplicates stuff, though. I do.
But for smart homes where you're talking to turn the lights off and all of that is already happening.
Yes,
which is
and it all drives me nuts. I just want to flick a light. I know. What about when you go into a hotel room and you're like, why can we just not have the tap that turns on? How do you turn the shower on? That kind of stuff,
Complicated.
Yeah. I think the idea is just, is it overcomplicating stuff, or is it simplifying?
Is it making it easier?
Right. If it's simplifying, big tick. If it's overcomplicating, and it could have just been done with a phone call to the plumber, forget it. No.
Yeah, I think and people think about technology as in high tech. I think low tech is where the genius actually is. Where yes, it's technology, but it's low. It's so low tech. Grandma can use it.
That's right. And that's how Alexa are promoting it. I think there was that's mainly their pitch is if the grandparents can use it to call your own kids, then it should be accepted. So.
Yeah, like we did routine inspections 6-7 years ago. We just walked through with an iPhone, and we uploaded the inspection to YouTube as a private link.
Yep.
And we were like pretty low tech, and that was hard. Owners were ringing up going, why can't you just do a written report for us so I don't have to watch a video? I was like, you're right. So, you know, it's got to be, that was super low tech, you know, we weren't sending them any funny, like it was YouTube. But it's got to be low tech.
You've also got to read the play because not everybody is tech savvy.
That's right.
Okay, so like my mum, who's pretty amazing for someone who's in her 70s.
Very good looking.
You know, if we big brownie points there. If we, you know, got her trying to do stuff like that, she'd be like, wait, what? No, I just want to pick up the telephone.
That's right.
So I think you've got to really read the play. Yesterday I was doing a presentation to the most gorgeous guy. He's 90 years old. Now I'm trying to explain my social media strategy to him. And he was just like, what is Facebook? And I just think, you know what? Let's just talk about TV channels. Right? And so putting it into his... And then it was, at the end of it, I said to him, I've just got a really good strategy. It's going to get you sold very quickly. And it's going to cost you no money. He was like, good, where do I sign? So in the end, you've just got to read the play, you know, and keep things simple for people.
There's a place for it.
Yeah, exactly.
No, there you go.
Exactly.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much. That's been a long conversation we've had. If there's any other questions at all, do feel free to type them here. We'll have them answered for you, and we'll join you guys next time.
Thank you guys. Thanks for having us.
Bye-bye.
See you later.